Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are focusing our attention on what is, frankly, one of the most aggressive economic accelerations happening anywhere in the world right now.
We really are. We're looking at the complete strategic overhaul of Maharashtra's information technology and IT sector, specifically as it stood in the middle of 2025.
And this isn't just a simple story of growth. We're talking about a blueprint that feels like it's designed for warp speed.
That's a good way to put it. This isn't about maintaining the status quo. It's about fundamentally shifting the state's entire economic structure.
So for you, our listener, our mission is to cut through all the dense policy documents and the huge investment headlines.
Right. We want to get to the core drivers that are defining Maharashtra's technological future. And it's a future that's being built on, well, multi-trillion rupee ambitions.
It is, and it's so necessary because the state isn't just positioning itself as another IT hub in India.
No, not at all.
The stated goal is to be the technology capital of the entire country and a major global competitor.
And we've got a huge stack of sources here. Policy frameworks, investment reports, economic forecasts, and they all point to the same thing. This is a government-backed, strategically financed acceleration.
The macro context really backs that up, doesn't it? I mean, the ambition is almost hard to believe.
It is. Maharashtra is targeting a USD 1 trillion economy by 2028.
$1 trillion.
$1 trillion. And just to put that in perspective for you, that's nearly half of India's current total GDP goal.
Wow.
You just can't hit a target like that without leveraging technology, digital infrastructure, and a highly specialized workforce at absolute maximum capacity.
And it seems like the international markets are already buying into this vision.
Oh, completely. The data we have confirms that between October 2019 and September 2024, Maharashtra secured the highest share of foreign direct investment, or FDI, inflows into India.
And not just by a little bit.
Not at all. A staggering 31%.
31%. That single statistic tells you almost everything you need to know. It's the clearest signal that large international conglomerates have deep, sustained confidence in the state's stability.
It absolutely speaks to long-term trust. And that confidence isn't just focused on, the huge multinational giants.
It's trickling down.
It's flowing right down into the grassroots innovation ecosystem. As of January 2025, Maharashtra also held the highest share nationally, 24% of all startups recognized by the government of India.
That's the potent combination, isn't it? That dual dominance. You're leading in massive structured foreign investment, but also in organic entrepreneurial energy.
Exactly, and it's fueling this acceleration. When you look at the immediate forecast for 2024-25, the state's economic survey anticipates growth at 7.3%.
Which is significantly outpacing the Indian economy as a whole.
Right, which is estimated around 6.5%. So what's so fascinating here is that the data points suggest this isn't just gradual organic growth.
This is engineered.
It's a strategically financed acceleration, and you can see it most clearly in how they are simultaneously tackling infrastructure build-out and talent development. These policies from 2023, refined right up to June 2025, they're designed to make this a self-sustaining cycle.
So let's start with that cornerstone then, the policy documents that make all of this possible, legally and financially. We're diving into the new IT and ITES policy from 2023, which is comprehensive and frankly highly aggressive.
This policy is the clear, unambiguous roadmap for the next decade. And its core goals, they're not just about market share.
It's about a qualitative shift.
It's about qualitative transformation. The government aims to make the state a global IT and ITES destination, turn it into a dedicated AVGC hub.
Right, AVGC, that's animation, visual effects, gaming, and comics.
Exactly, a huge growth area. And as we said, solidify its position as the technology capital of the country. It's an incredibly holistic vision.
And ambition without financial backing is just talk. So let's get into the incentive mechanisms. What's on offer?
For companies setting up or expanding, there are immediate tangible savings, things like a stamp duty exemption. But the really critical fiscal lever is applied to the digital backbone.
The data centers.
The data centers. They're the engine rooms of the digital economy, but they are notoriously power hungry. So the policy offers a specific electricity duty exemption just for them.
Okay, think about the implications of that for a second. An exemption on what has to be one of their largest, most consistent operating costs.
It's a massive incentive for global hyperscalers and cloud providers to choose Maharashtra over literally any other region. It makes their cost of operations highly competitive on a global scale.
And it's not just about attracting those heavy hitters, is it? The policy also seems to target the other end of the innovation spectrum.
Yes, it's designed to nurture the cutting-edge companies. There are dedicated incentives specifically for emerging technology firms.
So they're funding the entire life cycle.
The entire innovation life cycle. This isn't just about offering tax breaks on office space. They are providing fiscal support for R&D activities themselves.
For the actual research.
For the research, for market development, for paying certification costs. And this is crucial, subsidizing patent registration costs.
That is a huge shift.
It's enormous. It moves the focus from just hosting existing IT services, being a global delivery center, to becoming a global generator of intellectual property. It forces a migration up the value chain.
Now, let's talk about maybe the most radical part of this policy, the part with huge urban planning implications.
Zoning flexibility.
Unique zoning flexibility. The state has decided to allow IT units, integrated IT townships, and data centers to be set up in any zone.
Any zone. That includes residential, no development, and even designated green development zones.
This is a truly defining characteristic of the policy, isn't it? It really speaks to the urgency of that trillion-dollar goal. They're breaking all the traditional planning norms.
Absolutely. By granting IT and IT units essential services status, the government is effectively fast-tracking everything.
Traditionally, IT parks were, shoved out into industrial zones far from where people actually lived?
Exactly, which complicates commuting for your highly skilled workforce. This new flexibility lets companies locate closer to talent pools, closer to fiber optic backbones, closer to power substations. It just drastically speeds up deployment.
But I have to ask, setting up massive, energy-intensive infrastructure like a data center in a no-development zone, that sounds risky.
It is.
What's the friction there? Are they just overriding local municipalities?
That's the vital question. And yes, there is immediate friction. Policy analysts are definitely concerned about balancing industrial needs with conservation mandates.
So how do they do it?
The policy provides a central mechanism for granting these approvals. It effectively streamlines the process away from what could be a very long, drawn-out local bureaucracy.
So the state is making a bet.
A huge, calculated risk. They're betting that the economic and employment benefits from classifying these units as essential services will outweigh the environmental risk and any public resistance. The assumption is that modern, green IT infrastructure can be less polluting than traditional manufacturing.
That makes this not just an economic document, but a planning revolution. And building on that, let's look at the specialized focus on high-value roles. This is where the new Global Capability Centers, the GCC policy of 2025, comes in.
The GCC policy is absolutely critical. And we need to clarify what GCCs are today, because the perception has changed.
Right. They're not just outsourced back offices anymore.
Not at all. Today, they are the high-value strategic hubs for multinational corporations. Think Google, Goldman Sachs, Siemens. They handle proprietary core functions. They're key enablers of digital transformation, providing high-value services in deep tech, high-end finance, advanced analytics, core engineering, and fundamental R&D.
So the policy is leveraging India's well-known competitive edge, the skilled English-speaking workforce, the cost efficiencies. But it's directing it specifically towards capturing the high-paying, specialized GCC market.
It's about moving the state up the intellectual food chain. They're targeting the brain trust. The goal is to get GCCs to handle mission-critical, high-level decision-making functions, not just routine processing.
And to really solidify this, Maharashtra has another pretty significant, unique advantage.
In the financial sector, which is now completely intertwined with IT.
Fintech
Leadership. Maharashtra is the only state in India with a dedicated fintech policy.
That is genuinely impressive, especially when you think about the massive tech and financial ecosystems in other states like Karnataka. So how does Maharashtra make sure its dedicated policy doesn't just, duplicate national efforts?
That's where the institutional support comes in. The policy translates directly into the creation and ongoing support of the Mumbai FinTech Hub.
So it's not just a document.
It's a physical and virtual incubator. It's dedicated to supporting fintech startups with compliance, sandbox testing, access to financial institutions. And because Mumbai is the historical financial capital of India, this hub concentrates that support right where the capital markets operate. It provides a specialized environment that a general tech hub can't easily replicate.
And when we pull back and look at the infrastructure momentum from all of this, the numbers are just staggering.
They are. The overall contribution of Maharashtra in software exports was 7,047,075 crore up to March 2024.
Okay, let's contextualize that number for you. We're talking about nearly 7.5 lakh crore rupees.
That single figure represents approximately 20% of all software exports from India that are routed through the STPI, the Software Technology Parks of India.
So one-fifth. One-fifth of the entire country's formalized software export activity is flowing through Maharashtra.
It's immense. And the confidence from conglomerates isn't just theoretical. The state government recently approved investment proposals worth 1.35 lakh crore.
Over a lakh crore rupees. That's the private sector putting its money where its mouth is. It validates the whole policy direction.
It's the ultimate vote of confidence. The government created the economic conditions, and the market responded with capital investment at a scale that just necessitates rapid physical and digital deployment.
So let's move from the policy theory to the digital physics of it all, this massive infrastructure build-out. And you can't talk about that without talking about data storage capacity.
You can't. The foundation of modern IT growth requires reliable, secure, and just astronomically massive data centers. Which brings us to the biggest infrastructure project mentioned in our sources.
The data center mega deal.
This deal is really the poster child for the policy's success. It shows the direct impact of those electricity duty exemptions and the new zoning flexibility we just analyzed.
So what happened?
The Maharashtra government signed a formal Memorandum of Understanding, an OU, with Lodha Developers Ltd.
And this is to set up a green integrated data center park in Palava.
That's right. And the scale of this single deal demands attention. It's valued at 30,000 crore rupees.
30,000 crore. Now, the source notes this MOU was signed in September 2025, so just after our main focus period. But it represents the immediate confirmed pipeline that resulted directly from the policy direction set earlier in the year. It shows the future is already funded.
And the project vision here is really insightful. It's defined as a green integrated concept.
That suggests a serious commitment to sustainability. They're likely requiring power usage effectiveness, or PUE, standards that are significantly better than average. So these data centers will be extremely efficient.
And Lodha isn't the sole operator, right?
No, and this is key. They're acting as a facilitator, a master developer. They build the core infrastructure, the power, the security, the cooling, the fiber connectivity, and then they lease or sell space to multiple global data center players.
So it's not one massive box. It's an entire ecosystem designed for global players to just plug and play their data operations efficiently. Exactly. It standardizes connectivity and security across the whole park.
But even with fast-tracked approvals, a 30,000 crore rupee project takes years. What is the immediate impact of this kind of investment on the local area? I'm thinking about infrastructure pressure.
That's a key friction point. While IT creates high-value jobs, data centers themselves, they mostly consume power and land. A deal of this scale immediately places immense pressure on regional logistics, the power grid, and the water supply, even if it is labeled green.
So how do they manage that?
This is where that integrated concept is supposed to shine. The developer has to plan for and likely fund significant upgrades to utility infrastructure outside the park. They have to ensure the state's power network can handle this massive new load without destabilizing the grid for everyone else.
So it's a massive capital sink, but it's one that future-proofs the state's digital foundation.
That's the idea. And beyond these futuristic megaparks, the policy is also translated directly into an expansion of the more traditional IT park footprint.
Showing a two-pronged approach.
Right. The number of government-backed public IT parks functioning up to December 2024 was 37. These have already absorbed about 18,000 crore in investment and generated 2.7 lakh jobs.
Those are solid numbers, but the really defining feature here seems to be the private sector.
It's the overwhelming dominance and confidence of the private sector. By December 2024, the state had approved an astonishing 628 private IT parks.
628.
The volume is just unprecedented. It signals a regulatory environment that is aggressively incentivizing private build-out over public development.
And the geographical distribution is crucial for understanding the strategy here. This isn't just a Mumbai and Pune story anymore.
Not strictly, no. Though they are still the centers of gravity. Pune, as you'd expect, leads with 220 approved parks.
And Mumbai city and suburban areas together have 196, with Thane matching that at 196.
So that entire western crescent is saturated with development. But the deliberate spread is the critical takeaway here. It aligns perfectly with the policy's goal of promoting balanced growth.
So where else are they building?
Look at the secondary clusters emerging. Nagpur and Nashik each have 5 approved parks. Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar has 4.
Yeah.
And then even smaller areas like Wardha and Raigad have 1 each.
So this is a conscious effort to decentralize economic opportunity, to bring those IT investments and high-paying jobs to Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities.
It's a systematic, targeted distribution. But decentralization is great in theory, but it relies completely on connectivity and workforce mobility.
Right. If you have to commute 2 hours to get to a great job in Nagpur, the benefit diminishes pretty quickly.
Which brings us to the massive non-IT infrastructure projects that are supporting this digital highway. This is where the physical engineering feats become part of the digital strategy. You can't separate them.
Like the Apol Setu.
Exactly. The Atal Bihari Vajpayee Suryanavich Sheva Atal Setu, India's longest sea bridge. It significantly shortens the commute time between Mumbai and the mainland hubs that are so critical for these data center deals.
And within the cities themselves, the urban mobility projects have been relentless. The Mumbai Coastal Road Project Southbound Lane opened in January 2025.
Offering a high-speed arterial road, and the metro lines continue to prove their necessity. Metro Line 1 was averaging 5.0 lakh passengers daily during 2024-25.
So these transport projects are the logistics arteries that make the decentralized IT parks viable?
They absolutely are. They reduce talent attrition, they reduce commuting stress. By investing in these massive road and rail networks, the state is supporting the core premise that these IT units are essential services and that the workforce needs to move freely and efficiently.
Okay, so the infrastructure is the shiny new hardware. But without the talent pipeline, it's all just empty real estate. The single biggest factor in whether Maharashtra hits that trillion-dollar target has to be its ability to future-proof its workforce.
Absolutely, especially in deep tech areas like AI and cybersecurity. And the scale of the upskilling initiatives here is truly staggering.
The state clearly recognizes that a supply of traditional IT graduates just isn't enough for the demands of these GCCs and deep tech R&D centers.
They've been very proactive. They've partnered with national programs like NASSCOM Future Skills Prime. And within Maharashtra, a key partnership involved Swami Ramanand Tirth Marathwada University in Nanded, along with Skills Factory.
And this is to embed the Digital 101 framework across a huge network of 400 colleges.
400. And when we talk about that framework, what specific skills are the 1.5 lakh students they're aiming for actually getting?
This isn't just basic computer literacy, is it?
No, they're moving way beyond that. The focus is specifically on future-ready skills. So introductory concepts in artificial intelligence, machine learning principles, and foundational cybersecurity protocols. The goal is to move the student population from being digitally literate to being digitally fluent.
And this training isn't just some optional add-on course.
No. And this is key. We see a successful model from Chennai at Guru Nanak College that Maharashtra is adopting. They integrated these Future Skills Prime courses directly into their credit system.
So it counts towards your degree.
Exactly. That integration is the difference between success and failure. By making these industry-aligned courses count towards academic credits, you ensure relevance and mandatory participation. It forces the academic curriculum to keep pace with industry demands.
And alongside upskilling students, there's a clear shift in how early career professionals are actually entering the IT workforce.
A huge analytical shift. Our sources highlight industry discussions showing that apprenticeships are now seen as the preferred IT entry route.
So they're replacing the traditional campus placement drives.
They're certainly challenging them. This shift is crucial because it addresses the quality gap. An apprenticeship model mandates mentor-led, hands-on learning from day one.
So instead of months in theoretical training after you're hired,
You're a productive worker immediately. The apprenticeship essentially becomes a long, structured interview, and the proof is in the outcome. One discussion with Intera IT highlighted achieving a 100% conversion of apprentices into full-time roles.
100% conversion, that's
Yeah.
powerful. It means the company is so confident in the on-the-job training that the hiring decision is basically pre-made.
It completely de-risks the talent acquisition process. Think about it. Instead of hiring 100 people based on academic scores and losing 30 to poor fit, you hire 100 apprentices, train them for 6 to 12 months on live projects, debugging real code, managing real infrastructure, and then you hire all 100 because you know exactly what you're getting.
And to formalize this shift, the state launched a major new government program in July 2024.
Right, the Mukhya Mantri Yuva Karya Prashikshan Yojana, or MYKPY.
MYKPY is a targeted scheme for job seekers between 18 and 35. It's a 6-month job training span. And crucially, it offers a monthly stipend.
Paid via direct benefit transfer, or DBT. This subsidizes that initial experience period for employers and gives the job seekers some financial stability. It bridges that gap where fresh graduates have the degree but zero real-world experience.
The push for R&D capacity also got a massive boost from a major national scheme, approved right at the end of our focus period.
On July 1st, 2025, the Union Cabinet approved the National Research Development and Innovation Scheme, or RDI scheme.
And the outlay for this is unbelievable.
It's 1.0 lakh crore over 6 years, with 20,000 crore allocated just for this fiscal year, 2025-26. And its main goal is to fundamentally change how the private sector approaches innovation.
How so?
It incentivizes private R&D by focusing on funding projects at higher technology readiness levels, or TRLs.
Okay, TRL is classic technical jargon. You have to break that down for us. What does funding a TRL 4 and above actually mean?
TRL is a scale from 1, a basic idea, to 9, a fully deployed technology. TRL 4 is the point where a core technology, say a component for a quantum computer, has been proven to work in a lab, but it hasn't been tested in a complex system yet.
So it's post-theory, but pre-product.
Exactly. Funding at TRL 4 and above means the government is providing the massive capital needed for the most expensive, riskiest stages, scaling up, prototyping, and making it work in the messy real world. It pushes technology from the lab bench into commercially viable products.
And the targeted areas for this RDI scheme align perfectly with Maharashtra's ambitions. We're talking quantum computing, robotics, space tech, and AI applications in health and agriculture.
This scheme is essential. It financially supports the private sector to take those calculated. This is one of the most significant regulatory reforms in modern Indian history. It's formalizing the gig worker revolution.
How?
The codes introduce formal statutory definitions for platform worker, gig worker, and they formally recognize fixed-term employment. This standardization, replacing ambiguity with legal definitions, is huge for stability.
And that recognition of fixed-term employment is really impactful for IT, isn't it? Where project-based hiring is so common.
It is. It now entitles those employees to gratuity after only 1 year of continuous service.
Which is a big change from the old 5-year rule.
A massive step. It removes the financial penalty for hiring highly skilled, short-term talent. It supports the agility the IT sector needs while providing security for the worker.
Now, for the most complex piece of this, extending Social Security coverage to gig and platform workers. The mechanism for this, involving percentages of turnover and payments, it's a bit confusing. Can you simplify that for us?
It's a very delicate balancing act. It's designed to ensure worker welfare without crushing the aggregators, the platforms. So here's the simple breakdown. The aggregators may be required to contribute a small percentage of their total annual revenue, between 1% and 2%. That's the big pot of money.
Right, 1-2% of their whole business revenue.
Exactly. But the government recognized that could be punitive, so they added a cap. The total amount contributed by the aggregator for a specific worker cannot exceed 5% of the total payments made to that individual worker in that year.
I see. So it's a small slice of the big pie, but it's capped relative to the individual transaction. That makes sense.
It keeps it proportional and financially feasible. And the whole system is built on portability.
Which is non-negotiable for a fluid workforce.
Absolutely. The source mentions using Aadhaar-linked identifiers to simplify benefit access across different locations and employers. It recognizes that a gig worker might work for 3 different platforms in 2 different cities in a single year. Their benefits have to follow them seamlessly.
So, moving into the entrepreneurial landscape, it's clear Maharashtra is leveraging this national momentum to fuel its own startup ecosystem.
And the strategy is very focused. Distribute innovation and wealth beyond just Mumbai and Pune. This is where the National Initiative for Developing and Harnessing Innovations, the NIDHI program, plays a huge role.
They're expanding support into Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities.
Where land and talent are cheaper, but mentorship and capital access are traditionally weak.
And this expansion comes with real physical infrastructure. Nationally, we've seen 8 new inclusive technology business incubators, ITBIs, and 10 entrepreneur and residence centers. So what do these centers actually provide that a young startup can't get from, a coffee shop?
3 critical things. First, subsidized physical space and high-speed internet. Second, access to shared expensive resources like specialized labs or high-performance computing clusters.
And third,
and most importantly, mentorship and access to capital networks. The entrepreneur and residence centers literally place seasoned business leaders inside the facility to mentor startups day to day.
Yeah.
It drastically increases their survival rate.
So it's institutionalizing the kind of mentorship that those smaller cities often lack. And there's also targeted support for women entrepreneurs.
Yes, diversification is key to long-term resilience. The state prioritized subsidy support for women-led startups. In the first phase, 74 lakh was distributed among 20 women startups. It's a proactive financial injection to diversify leadership and perspective.
And while the private sector is accelerating, the state government itself is going through its own massive digital transformation.
Through its e-governance milestones, driven by the General Administration Department Information Technology, or GADIT, the focus here is scaling digital public service delivery.
And a document from March 2025 confirmed a plan to double the number of Apple Sarkar Seva Kendra centers.
These are the physical access points where citizens interact with government services digitally. Doubling their number immediately enhances accessibility across the state.
And we also see the regulatory foundation being laid for this expansion, a telecom infrastructure policy from April 2025.
That policy is vital. To double the service centers and support 628 private IT parks, you need exponentially more fiber optic cable and mobile towers. This policy standardizes and speeds up the approvals for laying that physical connectivity.
What's often overlooked in these grand tech plans is the human side of it all, digital inclusivity.
And the GADIT platform has made this a core feature. It's often cited as a success story. It includes numerous accessibility tools, which is critical in such a diverse state.
What kind of tools?
Things like high contrast modes for visually impaired users, text-to-speech functionality, and even options like a big cursor. It shows a deep commitment to ensuring services aren't just digitized, but are accessible to the largest demographic possible.
Finally, let's connect all of this back to the most advanced research areas that are feeding into this ecosystem, reinforcing that need for highly skilled talent.
These are national breakthroughs that Maharashtra is poised to capitalize on. For example, the SN Bose National Center had a major breakthrough in neuromorphic computing.
Neuromorphic.
They developed amalgamated hybrid materials that enable artificial synapses. They mimic brain-like functions.
So we're talking about components that could allow future AI processors to operate more like a human brain, much more efficiently than current systems.
Precisely. This is the foundation for next-generation brain-inspired AI. And if Maharashtra wants to be the technology capital, it needs to host the talent that can turn this research into commercial products.
And we're seeing similar things in healthcare, right?
Yes, scientists using AI to decode cancer pathways for personalized therapies. It's directly supporting the field of precision medicine.
So these two areas, AI hardware innovation and practical AI application, they show exactly where all these policies and talent development efforts converge.
Exactly. It's about building a truly advanced, value-generating tech ecosystem, not just a service delivery one.
So let's try to synthesize these enormous insights for you. What we've seen is that Maharashtra is juggling multiple gargantuan projects all at the same time.
They're balancing massive infrastructure investment, like the Palava data centers and those 628 private IT parks, with equally crucial human capital investment.
Right, upskilling 1.5 lakh students across 400 colleges, reforming their entire apprenticeship model.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the central tension here is clear.
What is it?
Maharashtra's challenge now is ensuring that the speed of policy implementation and infrastructure deployment, which is happening at warp speed, can keep pace with the much more complex, much slower process of developing the highly specialized talent that all of this requires.
Especially with new national regulations completely reshaping the definition of employment for gig workers. So, what does this all mean for you, the learner? You've seen the sheer scale of the investment trillions of rupees, and the policy shifts that allow tech infrastructure to penetrate every corner, including residential and green zones. The planned growth is truly unprecedented.
It's strategically designed to hit that UFD 1 trillion target. They are managing a complete structural overhaul of their economy, using both brute force capital and sophisticated regulatory finesse.
Indeed. The state is investing heavily to build both the digital real estate, that 30K crore data center deal in Palava is the perfect example, and the future workforce by upskilling 1.5 lakh students.
It's a two-front war on economic stagnation.
It is. But as the boundaries between physical location and digital work continue to blur, especially now with the formal legal recognition and social security for gig workers, how will Maharashtra ensure the long-term portability and stability of its specialized, high-value IT workforce, rather than just rapid short-term deployment?
That's the billion-dollar question, or I suppose the trillion-dollar question.
It is. It raises an important question for future monitoring. Can they build loyalty and long-term retention into this new flexible labor model and prevent a brain drain from the very deep tech sector they are so aggressively funding?